Okay, guys, this is for because a lot of people have it misconstrued, and it's a lot of people that do not believe in Jesus Christ. It is the devil and it is Jesus. And so I got some information here that I want you guys to pay real close attention to. Okay, and I'm going to speak it right. Easygoing Americans are more apt to believe that no religion is the truth. In universities, many professors teach there is no truth in American truth in religion is considered oxymoron. There is no truth in religion. We are told it it's all a matter of taste and opinion, and and the claim that religion is simply a matter of faith is nothing more than a modern myth. It's just not true. Facts are also central to all religions, including atheism. These claims can be evaluated through scientific and historical investigation. For example, some say the universe has a beginning, and some says it's eternal. They both can't be right. Either the universe had a beginning or it did not. Truth is not relative but absolute. If something is true, it's true for all people at all times in all places. For example, 2 plus 2 equals 4 for all people at all times in all places. So the belief that all religions, cults, etc. are true for everyone is wrong. We may not want to admit that there's truth in our beliefs because the truth will convict us. But if we open our eyes and stop hiding behind the self-defeating nonsense that truth cannot be known, then we'll be able to see the truth as well, and not just truth in the area where we demand money, relationships, health, laws, etc., but truth in our beliefs as well. As the blind man healed by Jesus said, "Once I was blind, but now I see." So, which religion belief is the one and only truth? There can be only one true belief for all people at all times in all places. We must investigate the truth and live by the truth and not suppress the truth. Evidence that God exists. Only a rookie who knows nothing about science would say science takes away from faith. If you really study science, it will bring you closer to God. James Tour, nano scientist. There's more than enough evidence to show that God exists, such as the truth of Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity. The universe was not eternal, but had a definite beginning. Therefore, if the universe had a beginning, then it had a cause, and that beginning was what scientists now call the Big Bang. The Big Bang evidence can be easily remembered by the acronym SURGE. So, who made God? In light of all evidence for a beginning of the space-time universe, the beginners must be outside the space-time universe. When God is suggested as the beginner, atheists are quick to ask the age-old question, then who made God? If everything needs a cause, then God needs a cause too. Well, the law of causality is the very foundation of science. Science is a search for causes, and that search is based on our consistent observation that everything that has a beginning has a cause. So why doesn't God need a cause? Because atheists' contentions misunderstands the law of causality. The law of causality does not say everything needs a cause. It says everything that to be comes everything that comes to be needs a cause. God did not come to be. No one made God. He is unmade as an eternal being. God did not have a beginning, so he didn't need a cause. There is also our morality. The moral law is another argument for existence of the theistic God. It goes like this. Every law has a lawgiver. This is a moral law. Therefore, there is a moral lawgiver. There can be no legislation unless there's a legislature. I'm chomping up my words. Legislature. Moreover, if there are moral obligations, there must be someone to be obligated to. When we say the moral law exists, we mean that all people are impressed with a fundamental sense of right and wrong. There are many reasons we know the moral law exists. The moral law is undeniable. We know the moral law exists. The moral law is undeniable. We know it by our reaction. It is a basis of human rights. It is a unchanging understand of justice. It defines a real difference between moral position, Mother Teresa versus Hitler. Since we know what's absolutely wrong, there must be a absolutely standard of righteousness. The moral law is the grounds for political, social dissent. If there were no moral law, then we wouldn't make excuses for violating it. In fact, Adolf Hitler used Darwin's theory of philosophical justification for the Holocaust. In the 1924 book Mein Kampf, My Struggle. So there was no God. Then what Hitler did was just a matter of opinion, and if at least one thing is really morally wrong, like it's wrong to a consistent atheist, you have to believe that there is nothing really wrong with murder, rape, genocide, torture, or any other heinous act by faith. You have to believe that real moral principles arose from nothing, but such beliefs are clearly unreasonable. The fool says in his heart, there is no God. Psalms 14:1. You guys should check that scripture out. Is there evidence for evolution? Evolution is a theory that exists only in the imagination of evolutionists. Why do they teach it? Most professors continue to teach evolution in the universe out of fear. This fear is that of not being tenured, of not getting research grants, of not being published, and of not being accepted by their peers. So they must follow the party line, which is evolution. So the problem is that when they do this, you are no longer involved in education, but in a indoctrination, indoctrinating an entire generation in the false belief that there is no God and that we are simply animals evolved from slimy algae. There is no evidence for evolution theistically or naturalistically. The major problem of evolutionists is the fossil record. Charles Darwin believed that if evolution were true, we would find the evidence in fossil records. He predicted that the geological strata would reveal a gradual upward evolution of species to greater and greater complexity. Newsweek magazine of March 29, 1982 had a cover story entitled Mystery of Evolution. This contains some of the following admissions: a professional embarrassment of paleontologists, their inability to find the fossil of transitional forms between species, the so-called missing link. Darwin and those who followed him believed that the work of evolution was slow, gradual, and continuous, and that a complete lineage of ancestors shading imperceptibly perceptibility. One into the next could, in theory, be reconstructed for all living animals. Paleontologists have devoted whole careers to looking for examples of gradual transitions over time, and with a few exceptions, they have failed. What we find in the fossil record is all species full form with no transitional intermediates or missing links. If evolution was true, we should be finding literally millions of transitional forms or missing links from one species to the next. Instead, we find none. So Darwinists have been successful in convincing the public that the only bad science is that which disagrees with Darwinism, and that really isn't science at all. They say it's just religion masquerading as science. In effect, it's their secular religion of naturalism that leads them to ignore the empirically detectable scientific evidence for design.